Alright, so I watched an anime recently called Akuma Kun. This is a bit of an odd one. It looks like a Doraemon, but surprisingly brutal at times, while entirely lazy and childish at other times. Moments of brilliance sprinkled with utter garbage. Confusing to say the least. I'd say the first few episodes are a definite recommendation, but as it goes on, boy does it start to suck. Anyway, what is it about? A mysterious boy genius who appears only every 10,000 years has been chosen by an ancient artifact. Today, he studies countless arcane texts to decipher mystical rites which empower, bind, and banish demons. Together with a half-demon hybrid, they solve occult crimes and eat ramen. Their schedule is generally fairly open, but right behind every corner, a new mystery might lurk. It's kind of a boring premise, to say the least. But it's about what's done with it, not what the setup is. Some of the best stories sound fairly boring before the actual execution makes it all shine. What did I enjoy? The mysteries, such as the first twist. So the situation is as follows. 5 people seemingly unconnected have died at the same time under strange circumstances, in entirely different parts of the city. However, apparently they form a pattern which converges upon a single house. In there is a demon, and yet it's only a shadow. And the twist is, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'll just say that I didn't actually see it coming. I suppose it could have went either way, but I was surprised, so that's a plus. Same with episode 5, while 6 and 7 are both fairly simple, but I've enjoyed the stories. 3 was what made me watch this in the first place. That was a nice taste of the bigger picture. Anyway, not gonna go episode by episode, just as what up until like episode 7, I've enjoyed the anime quite a bit. The cult and the twists, kinda like Black Butler maybe. A diet version of it. Which is it, because the art is very basic, like I said, Doraemon look-alike. The music is extremely bare bones, essentially only with one short loop track for both intro and outro. The voices are, well, they are okay, but nothing impressive. And the pacing, direction, and overarching story are all could have been better. What did I dislike? Episode 8 onwards, but especially 11 and 12. All those are more focused on the character background and the big bad. None of which is executed properly. The anime works fairly well as a series of unconnected stories, but the moment they are all tied together, it all falls apart. Ironically. Also, strangely enough, despite being entirely obvious where it is all going, somehow nothing is ever properly explained. Who was the tied up woman in red? What's with the nails? Why is the big bad obsessed with Akuma Kun? Why does everyone look like a child? Why is all the magic so lazy, like half a spellbook of Final Fantasy Black Mage? Why is Mephisto suddenly able to fly? How did he survive? What's with the gun? What was the blue blood scroll or whatever? I can probably ask more questions, but I truly don't care about any of the answers, because they are clearly going to be horribly disappointing. Anyway, whatever the case may be, this was an interesting little waste of time. I do wish anime was less generic, like this show, which is apparently a remake of the anime from '89, or a sequel, whatever. Point is, this one stands out, and it isn't a harem in school or an isekai setting. Drowning in this right now, so I latched onto this despite not seeing any positivity. I wasn't pleasantly surprised, but I wasn't completely disappointed either.